आवाज आ रही है?
Yes, finally. And to everyone who's watching, I have a bad throat, so please bear with that. And welcome back to Indian Racing League. This is round 10, I believe, of 17, and we are at the Circuit Well now in Canada. And joining me in the comms box is an old friend, someone who used to do comms with me a while back. I think it was way back in season 6, if I'm not wrong. Gaurav, or Easy Level Bot, you would know him by. And we have 14 people already in the lobby. I think we have a couple of more people joining, at least one, which is Oxidized Rage. So let's see how or when he joins. But Gaurav, welcome to the comms box. And how are you doing? It's been a while since we have spoken with you and since we have seen you on track, especially.
Thank you, Madhav. Really good to be back. Yes, I've been missing racing and the comms box. So, yep, looking forward to Canada and looking forward to getting back to racing also very soon. So, let's hope that very soon stays to be very soon. But Canada is a very interesting track, as you can see. It is a bit overcast and tends to provide a mix of weather conditions. So let's see how this weekend pans out, or race weekend rather.
Right, it is definitely overcasted for people who are complaining about the windmill. That's actually my fan, guys. It's now hot in Gurgaon, so you'll have to make do with that. The AC in my room is a long way off, so it won't really cool or give any kind of cold where I'm sitting. But Blood X Wave is on the track and Azun has left the session. Let's hope he can join pretty soon. Tanishq is also in the lobby. He was a very late entrant. And let's see. Right, so in terms of lap time, Gaurav, anything you can tell us about what would be a good lap time here as far as quali is concerned?
Oh, that's a rather difficult question
Have I
for
put
me
you in
at
a
this
spot
point in
with
time. But I think anything, yeah, but probably anything in 110s or late 19s should be a good time, I believe, or in 19s. I would expect some drivers to go in the 19s if I remember the track correctly. But yes, it is a track full of left and right handers and very tricky overtaking spots as well. Rather a pretty difficult track, I would say. I mean, at least personally for me, it is a difficult track to master and consistently put those laps in without gathering much of track extension penalties.
Yeah, track is a difficult one, I would say, at least in terms of trying to avoid time penalties. That's something which is quite difficult to do here, and hopefully, Division 1 drivers will have a slightly better day than Division 2 last night, where almost everyone got time penalties except maybe a couple of drivers. That was Smith and Sid Venkatesh as well. Blood X Wave using all the track on the exit, grazing the wall of champions, and he goes across the line with a 1:11.2. And that's an indication, Gaurav, that we might see someone in the 1/9s for sure here tonight.
Yep, I believe so. As Tantar Mantar has invalidated his lap, and there was another car coming. But is it getting overcast? Rather, I would want to see the tire choices as well. Ethan is on a set of intermediates, but I think he's just bluffing around
Yeah, I
and
think he's
back into the
just
pits.
saving a set of tires for the race or towards the end of this quali. Redstone Derp is on a lap and is approaching the final corner now as he completely throws his car around and once again using all the track on the exit and across the line. He comes with a 1:10.3 and that's the fastest we have seen so far, although just two people have set times. But Redstone Derp, usually a very good qualifier. I think he got pole last time out in Jeddah and won that race as well. So, Redstone Derp, it seemed like the terrible camera angles which the game is offering me, but it seemed like he went a bit on the grass. Let's see who else is on a lap. I think TBK might be on one, but he has invalidated, and so has Tantar Mantar. Abhi is on a lap as well. Abhi, of course, is a Division 2 driver, but he loves to race in Division 1 and loves to let people through and have a very incident-free race. So if you're behind Avi in a Division 1 race, that's almost like a free position. But given the nature and given the competitiveness of the Division 1 field, he does usually end up in points because people ahead of him just crash out or have incidents of their own. Right, Viper Speed has also gone, third quickest, but only the one of the three people to set a lap so far, and it's Jishnu on a lap as well.
2.2 seconds away.
Yep.
Not very representative from Viper Speed. I'm sure he's got a lot more pace than that. Probably just needs to set his car and get his lines right. As yep, Jishnu should be has invalidated his lap for some reason. I think there's a Haas that's going to cross the line next. That's Abhi. Let's see where he puts his battery. He's not using any of his battery, so I don't
Yeah,
think.
might be on a race run,
Yep.
Abhi. And I'm right now spectating Tanishq Vikiran in the Red Bull, and TBK might be on his way to complete a lap. Let's see what happens. This yellow boys, a yellow flag. Sorry, it's Chipshima's comments which threw me off, and TBK has invalidated his lap.
Oh,
And I think
no,
it has
in
actually gotten sunnier since the start of the session. It was rather overcast when we started, but I think it's pretty sunny now. So I think rain is not going to be a factor, at least in qualifying. Right. So who is on a lap? Who's in a representative lap and someone whom we can
think
maybe go on
Santar
board? Maybe one
Mantar
of the
should
URL
be.
boys.
Okay.
I think Ethan
Yeah,
is
I
on a
think
lap.
Caesar. Yeah, Ethan has started a lap and Caesar is
Yeah,
also
Caesar is starting a
a
lap. So
lap,
let's
so we
go
can
on
go
board
on.
with Caesar. Oh no, he's just coming into the pits. Right, so let's go on board with Ethan and all yours, Gaurav, to take us through this hot lap.
Alright, he has a Red Bull ahead of him, just getting whatever slipstream as much as he can. Oh, that was rather close as he comes through this chicane. And a track where you really need to get your exits right rather than the entry. As he sets a purple middle sector, not sure if that's a deception or a true indicator, but is eager on the throttle and manages that very well. DRS wide open for him, trying to keep his car as straight as possible as he can, now lining himself up for the final set of corners and takes it rather carefully. And I'm not sure if that was my lag or did he graze the
No, he
wall, but
did graze the
in a
wall and he
straight
has
line,
lost.
P6.
Yeah, he's lost the end plate. Meanwhile, Abhishek has gone fastest with a 110.1. So expect someone to breach that 110 barrier pretty soon. VFix is yet to put in a lap, and let's see what he does.
And he's
Oxidized
on a set
Rage.
of mediums.
Yeah, so he's probably doing a couple of race runs maybe. And Oxidized Rage in the Alpha Tauri is on an out lap. So let's see what he does. Usually performs very well in qualifying, especially in D2. But I think in Division 1 as well, he will be quite competitive as he starts the lap, and it's a rather safe line through the final chicane, and as how it should be as he starts the lap. And see where, by the way, Mayank has popped up into P3 with a 110.8, so that's a quite rapid from Mayank as well.
Yep, and the sun has indeed come out, so the track would also evolve. I think the drivers would just have a few more tents to find in their final runs as we have. Oh, and Oxidized Rage has invalidated his lap.
Yeah,
9 more minutes
a
to go into
shame
quali.
from him. Oxidize has invalidated. TBK is on an out lap, so it's Caesar, and Caesar is about to start his lap. And let's see what kind of panauti we can do as he is invalidated. The start of his lap, which
Oh,
means
and that would, and I,
it will carry
yep,
on to the next lap. That's the panauti,
yep,
guys.
it
If you're
would.
watching this, just clip this so Caesar can watch it later on. And yeah, that's the power of my panauti. Here, anyway, I think where TBK is yet to reach the hairpin in the second sector. So yeah, that will take some time. Let's pick up anyone else. Is I think Blood X Wave is on a lap,
That's
and he's improving by quite a margin. He's improving by almost 1.5 tenths So let's see what he does in his Aston Martin. He was pretty rapid along with Caesar in Jeddah last weekend, but had to suffer an unfortunate crashing out. So let's hope he can put in a good lap and also have a good race this time around, as he hesitates a little bit and has invalidated as well.
Oh, invalidated.
Right, what is
Not the
TBK
best
up
of.
to? TBK I think has just started his lap, and let's see what he can do. We'll keep an eye out on VFX as well, because VFX is the only medium runner right now, and when he goes on to those soft tires, he will be very, very quick. But right now he's on the mediums and is not coming in anytime soon, so well, probably just saving his best for the last VFX. And obviously he is the championship leader as we speak with 12 points. That's the lead he has over Redstone Dub, who has also started a lap. So let's see what Redstone
Oh,
can
and
do.
Tantar Mantar has lost his car
Yeah, he's
at
crashed out, and Redstone just
the
went
end of the
through that
final first
section and
sector.
is gone fast as Redstone. Is gone faster by half a tenth. Meanwhile,
Oh, just gets a bit squirrely at that. Oh, and he has abandoned his lap, I
yeah, he
believe.
has
I
backed
think
out.
that exit.
Well, TBK is going to go to the last sector. Has to be very tentative through that, and I think that is not going to be quick enough. TBK goes P4, but I still think he has a lot of pace in him. Where is Redstone? Is he going to start another lap, or is he going to come back into the pits and have a change of tires and then go again?
Meanwhile, we have three drivers. I think that's Abhishek's, Oxidized Rage, and probably Mayank. Is it three drivers who are going to start their laps
Oh,
right
TBK
one
has
behind the other?
retired. As his teammate Abhishek is going to start a new lap, Tanishq has retired from the session, so he'll start no further ahead than P4.
Oh, he's lost the car at the same corner. Redstone got squirrely and aborted his lap. So expect that corner to have a few victims, Malav. That is a difficult corner. People tend to get eager on the throttle because they'll get that DRS short run with DRS as well.
What a beautiful line
But
through the
hopefully,
first chicane
drivers.
from Abhishek, and he's gone faster by 1.5 tenths. And once again, that
So
corner, as you named it, Gaurav, has another victim. Abhishek, while he has not lost the car, but he's lost all momentum. And I don't think this next sector is going to be an improvement. He's still probably pushing the way it looks his car, but I don't think it's going to be an improvement as he crosses the second sector split. Yeah, he's down by one
yeah,
second.
second.
What about Redstone
Yeah,
meanwhile? Is
I
he
think
going to complete his lap? Yes, he is. Redstone up, and that
is
was
improving
once again
by a
safe.
few hundreds
Can
right
he
now.
go provisional pole? Yes, he
And
can,
yep,
by just
yep.
a few hundreds or just a few thousandths of a second rather. And he goes provisional pole. Where is VFix meanwhile? VFix on an out lap. So we'll keep an eye out on him as well. What about Jishnu? Jishnu is coming back in. Hello, Sid. How are you doing? And hope you're enjoying your vacation. And let's then spectate VFX, who is probably doing his one and only run of the session, and see where he can put his Ferrari. He's got 4 poles, if I'm not wrong, this season. So, yeah, Tips, I think the answer to your
Yep,
question lies in this particular lap. If anyone can put it in the 109s, it is probably VFX or Redstone. Maybe Abhishek. Oh, did he lose it there once again?
I did see that Ferrari slide a bit through those corners, but not sure if it was spectator lag or if it was actually him losing the car. But it'll be interesting to see the kind of fuel load he's carrying right now. He's 1.5 tenths up on his time right now.
Yeah, but that's not good enough,
So
and I think he'll
yeah,
probably back
right.
out and then go for another run, maybe.
He's running out of corners to
Well,
recharge
is he
his
coming back
battery
into
if
the
he
pits? He
wants to
might just come
do
back in the
that. So
pits.
probably,
Yeah, he is coming back in
yep,
the pits. He
he
has time.
would.
Probably can go again. Let's pick out
Yep.
someone else who is on a lap. I think a lot of people are not in the lap right now. They are preparing for their final runs. and you'll see a flurry of cars out on the track very
PSI
soon.
Legends, it
At
doesn't
least
have as much battery as he'd like, so
he's
I'm not
probably gonna
sure if
come back in
there's
as
going to be
well.
any kind of improve. But Viper Speed is improving on his timeline, invalidates right the moment I come on to spectate him, so no
Right.
improvement
So
for
how's the
him.
reason
He
why VFix aborted
might
his
just
lap
have.
was because he was not improving by enough, and yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the reason he aborted. The kind of gains he had would have put him maybe P5, P6, and that's nowhere near enough where he expects his car to be the championship leader. Let's see. Now I can see a couple of cars on the track. I think one of them is Blood X Wave, who is once again the first person to put. He was the first person to put in the first lap of the session, and seems like the final run as well. He will be the first one to cross the line. So Blood X Wave is in P8 with an 11.2 and when a 5/10th, well, I say 5/10th as if it's a piece of cake, but if he can gain 5/10ths here, that would put him straight away into P3, P4. And a lot of support for VFix in the comments section, as VFix is still in the pits, yet to come out on the track. And where is he? Yeah, there he goes out on the track, and let's see what his Ferrari can do. But meanwhile, with Blood X Wave, he started his hot lap right about now, and let's see what kind of sector times he's doing. There's some traffic coming out of the pits. I think one of them is his teammate right ahead of him. It is Caesar, who will move out of the way as soon as he can, but it is going to be
But
difficult for Blood XPF to concentrate with this amount of cars, and he
oh,
has
and
crashed
Blood
out.
X. Oh
Well,
no, no,
how many
that's not the
times
best.
are people going to Panoti
Uh,
themselves? Because that's
oh,
not on me. That's really not on me. Either ways, I think Redstone has started his lap and is down on his first sector time. So he'll have to be very careful here, and he has this time. It's
oh,
very close to the walls there, but I think he has kept his time and the momentum he was carrying through those corners. Again, very close to this course, throwing his car around. And Redstone, I think, definitely is up. And let's see the second sector split, and he's up. Yes, he is by almost 900ths of a
he,
second. As there is no
he
real traffic
really.
in front of him. He might get a distant tow from the Williams, I believe. Uh, but I think this will be a clean run through the line, and let's see what kind of lines he takes through the final corner. That was as committed as it gets, but again conservative on the exit, and Redstone across the line. Can he go 109?
And
No, he cannot. He improves by a few hundreds, but it is still P1 for Redstone, and that's all that matters right now. Mayank, or rather, it was Jishnu, who was.
Oxidize. Meanwhile, Oxidize Rage crossing the line. Not sure how well.
He goes
He
P3.
improves
That
by a
is
second
very
on his
impressive.
time. Yep,
And
indeed. And there is an Albino Williams of Viper Speed that has invalidated, and URL Ethan is in the pits. URL Basel has also invalidated, and I think that's VFix that's probably coming to cross the line.
goes P3
And
VFX.
VFix goes P3.
Not close enough. Where is Mayank? Is in the pits. Is Caesar about to? Oh, Caesar has invalidated,
And he
so
has
that's not
invalidated
going
his.
to count. And
And PSI
Caesar's
Legends
time
has also invalidated his lap.
is Abhishek's
Yep,
anywhere
that pretty
close.
much.
I think Abhishek's, yeah,
Oh
Abhishek
yes,
could actually improve here.
Abhishek.
And oh, he's coming
Yeah,
back in
and
or
take
what?
pole.
Why is he
He
going
is
so
up by
slow?
1.5 tenths on his time.
But he's
I'm
going
not
so
sure if
slow.
he's
Has
run out
he?
of fuel.
Oh, that is so unfortunate. I think he might have ran out of fuel there. He was up by 1.5 tanks through the second sector, and that would have given him pole by quite a margin. Might have even
I
gone into the 109s. But as
I don't
luck
know.
would
I
have
don't
it,
see his flash fuel like
he doesn't have a
flashing.
front wing. He has no front wing,
I
Abhishek.
don't know what.
So, yeah, something happened on
I
that
guess
lap.
the front row sitters are in the same party chat. Was it tactical from them? I might guess. or not, because three out of the front four, top four, I believe, would be in the same party chat, or four out of the top five, rather. That's what I think.
Yeah,
So,
that's
bit
quite
of team
likely
games might
as
come into picture there for the race.
right, and we'll see if any kind of weather is going to hit. So we had a wet race last night in Division 2. It was a dry, wet, dry race, and something like that would be very, very interesting as we are asked to give some podium predictions as you can see the qualifying lineup on the grid. And I think it's Redstone, VFX, and let's go with Caesar this time. Let's panote him. So I think that's my prediction. What about you, Gaurav?
I'm going to go for Abhishek's VFix and Blood Wave. Let's
Right,
see.
that's interesting. And for people who are
I'm
watching
hoping for
us,
him to have a good race.
yeah. And for people who are watching us, 14 people in, so that's a good turnout. Let us know in the comment section who do you think is going to finish on the podium. Hopefully, weather has a part to play, and we'll see if that is a thing. But it's quite sunny right now. No rain on the horizons, no dark clouds. So that's a bit disappointing, but it's Canada. Overtaking is possible here, and the track is not as wide as you think it would be. So that is going to be interesting in terms of some side by side racing action. Either ways, Gaurav, if you can just disconnect your mic and insert it back into the jack once again. There is some weird noise which I'm hearing. I don't know about people who are watching this on their YouTube channels, but yeah. Either ways, we should be starting the formation lap pretty soon. The drivers would be adjusting their fuel levels and the front wing action, levels, and obviously tire pressures. That's the only thing they can change. As Caesar says, watch out for blood wave. We will do that, Caesar, as he starts P9 and Caesar, a pathetic qualifying performance from him, starts way down in P15 on the hard tires. A lot of hard tires runners, Gaurav. Does that surprise you?
Not really, because I think this track is
Oh!
pretty high. Oh, and there are disqualifications already.
Both the Alpine boys have been disqualified for contact into turn 2. Imagine that. The starting P10, P11. Sorry to cut you off there, Gaurav, but that was very comical to see. Yeah, please continue your thought.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. I just missed that, but yeah, surprising to see. But yeah, not very surprised because probably this is a track which is high on tire degradation and high on the number of safety cars also that you might get here. So probably starting on the hards is a more conservative and a long run strategy where you can go on a set of mediums later on. I'm expecting to see at least two safety cars in the race. I shouldn't be saying that. I should be hoping for drivers to see the checkered flag, but yeah, historically speaking, probably I would go for that
Yeah, I mean, it's either Division
number.
1. You can't not have a safety car unless it's turned off or unless it's Monaco. By the way, V6 is on the softs, so is TBK and so is Hazoon, and that's predictable. But that's an interesting strategy from V6 at least, since everyone around him is on the mediums. So if we can get a good launch off the line, I remember 2016 Sebastian Vettel got a brilliant launch off the line and he overtook both Mercedes cars into turn 1. Let's see if VFix can replicate that as Redstone is trying to make his way through all the traffic and put his car on the grid box as he's done brilliantly so. And now I think Caesar and
Yep, he
Azun,
has.
well, TPK has been disqualified because of the parking, I guess, and so has been Caesar. But we'll start to see the red lights on the screen as we go 5 red lights, and its lights are out, and we're underway. And it's a good start from Redstone, but an equally good from Abhishek. And VFix is going to go down the inside of both those cars. Can he? No, he cannot. And further behind, it's TBK trying to move drive a move right around the outside of Oxidized Rage, and TBK moves to the inside. Then can he get either of them? But he does get VFX, and I think someone has lost its Viper Speed, who has lost out of position, and Redstone is losing
And so
time
has
hand over
Redstone
fist.
top.
Yeah, Redstone is ghosted right now. It seems like.
Yep,
No,
he
not
did lose his
really, but
car at
it's
one of those left and right handers. That's why he went a bit slow and lost a few positions. Meanwhile, the two Red Bulls side by side exchanging positions. Tanishq on the faster tire, and Abhishek's wisely letting him through not to try and make contact. But there is the Ferrari of VFX also looking to make a move around the outside of Abhishek. Is on the racing line and gets that better drive from those medium tires and the soft
And look
runners.
at Redstone.
It was
Abhishek is being
VFX.
swallowed up right now as Redstone is trying to make his way past Abhishek as well. And we'll see who breaks later. It is going to be Redstone is in the pits.
I think he just did damage his front wing there in one of those corners where he lost his car. Meanwhile, VFix was the driver on those softs, getting the better of the starts than the ones up ahead, but he had to back off considering it was almost 3 wide at turn 1 at the start of the race. And did Tanishq graze the wall? I'm not very sure, and there's a yellow flag for Viper speed, I believe, and I'm not able to spot his car. All right,
He's
okay.
in the pits, I think,
That's
Viper Speed.
hopefully
I'm
done.
not entirely sure.
No,
But as the comment
no,
section
he
pointed
isn't
out,
in the
Jishnu,
pits.
out of nowhere, is leading this race and has a healthy lead over Tanishq. Now, TBK will have to hunt him down because he's on the strategy that will allow him to push his tires a bit more. Viper Speed has retired from the session, and
And he has retired on track, I believe, because his car is still moving.
moving. Yeah, I think pretty sure he has retired on track here. We'll see what's happening further behind. Redstone Duff has lost a lot of time, so there was definite contact somewhere. Oh, TBK, come on. It's not even 2 laps and he's got a 3 second time penalty to contend with, but he's going all guns blazing. And I think he's just picked up another warning, the way he took that turn 1. Blood X-Wave with a time penalty as well, so that's not going to help his podium chances, Gaurav. As we continue for this battle bit for the lead, it's TBK on the back of Jishnu, but Jishnu is doing very well to hold on to his own as Oxidized Rage has lost his car and has lost a host of positions there. And is he going to let another car through? Yes, he has. Oh, but that car has gone wide. That's Abhi who has gone deep there and is fine now. It's still yellow flag for Oxidized's car. Maybe TBK has lost his car and
Has lost.
TBK, that is really unfortunate. Azun, by the way, started P16, is up into P9. And I think probably a good time to look at position gains. Right, so you see Jishnu has gained 4 positions, so has Basil. Bloodus Wave has gained 3. Caesar and Azun both have gained 6 positions each. As Caesar is trying to make a move, make the 8 position gain for Mercurial Caesar on those hard tires. That is a really good first few laps for Caesar, and it's Tantar Mantar has gained 5 positions in all that.
Yep, the Aston Martins now in formation can make their strategies work out
Oxidized!
correctly. They are
Oxidized spun
on the same
second
strategy.
corner.
That
Oh,
is not
is that
helping.
TBK spinning
So
again?
there's a yellow flag again.
It is. TBK just not happy with the balance of his car and is spun again. This is the man who was fighting for P1 at one point and is now languishing in P14.
Meanwhile, DRS now enabled. Can VFX get inside that 1 second window? He is very close to the detection line and just a few thousandth away. I think he will probably get the DRS on this occasion. And so from both the cars behind.
Nope,
No, his
no
wing is
DRS
not open.
for VFX as TBK overtakes Oxidized Rage. And yes, Harsh, we do not know the weather. So it seems like it's all dry right now, but you never know. Meanwhile, VFX is well within the DRS window of Jishnu. So expect VFX to make certain inroads in the next couple of laps and maybe even go for an overtake if His straight line speed allows it. TBK with a 5 second time penalty in the pit lane. It's all penalties and is retired in the pit lane. He
and
has
has
had enough.
retired from this.
And Oxidize has
And
retired as
Oxidize
well. And that's in the pits as well.
in the pits. Yep.
And Hirsch, yes,
So
Redstone did
they've
pit
had
again. We missed
enough.
that. From the hards, he's pitted on to the mediums. So, not having a good time, Oxidize. Maybe had an incident once again. Currently spectating this battle, which is VFix versus Jishnu, and Abhishek's barely hanging on for that DRS. And let's see what happens.
He is on the better tire or the tire that is rather going to be the better one in the next few laps. So as long as he can just hold along these leaders, Abhishek is also poised for a good finish. Meanwhile, VFix would also have to consider boxing in the next few laps, but this time he is very close to Jishnu and has gotten a better exit than him as well. But the corner comes in a bit early for VFix.
Meanwhile, Blood
As
X
there
Wave
is
is on the hunt. He is on the back of Mayank and he was pretty close to overtaking the Alfa Romeo but could not do that on this instance. And meanwhile, Tantar Mantar is on the back of Caesar. So Caesar has not really caught up to his teammate Blood X Wave and is now being caught up by Tantar Mantar. So we'll keep an eye out on that battle. VFX within 5 tenths of Jishnu, and I believe the next time they are on the back straight, VFX might have a real chance here depending on the exit he gets out of this hairpin.
yeah,
Oh,
indeed.
Jishnu does make a mistake there, it seemed like,
Just
but VFX
yep,
made a
he just
mistake as
missed
well.
the apex a bit.
But VFX didn't have the best of the runs through that hairpin as well. Jishnu sticking to the left of the track, right of the track, and then moves over to the left, which is the racing line. He is going to have the lead going into this corner, but you don't know if that's going to stay on the next lap. Well, Jishnu does get a decent exit out
Yep,
of
he,
there, so he will
yep,
keep
he
his
does
P1
get.
for now.
Yep, and Abhishek's following closely, and URL Basel on the hard tires also just a couple of seconds behind. So one mistake from any of these drivers, he's also right in the mix, and Mayank is and Bloodwave are also right behind him. So it's an interesting different strategy choices in the top six. So uh, safety car can just stir things up a lot right
Yeah,
now.
it
Probably
can, but
would help
oh, that's
VFix.
how heavy cut by Abhishek. That would have gained him a warning. Redstone up, meanwhile, putting fastest lap after fastest lap in clean air, but he has to hope for a safety car
And
right
gets a
now.
time penalty.
Once again, oh, and Redstone does get a time penalty in the process. It's not going to help his race or championship chances. But oh, sector 2,
And
yellow
there's a
flag.
yellow
I
flag
think
for
that's
Haas.
Abhi.
Abhi.
I think that's Abhi who has lost out. And that's VFX very close to Jishnu, and Abhishek's very close to VFX. But once again, Jishnu is increasing the gap as they approach turn 1. So this is not going to be easy for VFX, it seems like. And the more this battle drags on, the lesser advantage VFX has for his soft tires. So it's not going to be easy for him to then gain an advantage even after he overtakes, or if he overtakes, riding on board with Mayank right now, who has finally caught up to Basil, who's on the hard tires, of course, and Basil doing his own race right now, but Mayank is on his back and is dragging along Blood X Wave as well. And let's see if Mayank is this time around, is he close enough? I don't think he is, but maybe on the back straight he will have an opportunity to overtake the Williams.
Yep, he just needs to line his exit and he will have that grip advantage to URL Basel. Does he get that exit? Meanwhile, VFix now losing that pit on those soft tires.
I don't believe Mayank is
He
close enough
isn't
on this
close
lap.
enough. Yep, and neither is VFix, so I think the train stays as is for this
But here
lap
goes
yet
Blood X
again.
Wave, here goes Blood X Wave. Mayank has made a mistake and is pushing Blood X Wave to the edge of the track, and both of them collide. That was a bit aggressive from Mayank, if I can say so, because it wanted to push Blood Expert to the extremities of the track and has cost himself some time and positions and has cost Blood X-Wave a lot of time. Now Abhishek is on the back of VFix and he's closer to VFix than VFix is to Jishnu. It seems like that now the medium tires have an edge over the red mark soft tires, Gaurav.
Yep, these mediums would really have kicked off for all of them, especially P1 and P3. But would be as Abhishek is pretty close to VFix this time around.
And he's
VFix
using his
just
battery, Abhishek. So this
not
time he
having the
feels
best of.
he's close enough to make a move, but he then stops using his battery. I believe he could have had a real go had he continued pressing the overtake button, but he chooses against it and is going to stay behind VFix for one more corner. But this time he has got a great run out of the final corner, and Abhishek on the back of VFix and is alongside VFix, and as they approach turn 2, he is ahead of VFix, but VFX has to hang in there. But I think Abhishek with better grip. What a brilliant move we saw from Abhishek, and that's brilliant racing from both of them.
Yep, indeed, that was some brilliant racing between the Ferrari and the Red Bull. So, and expect Abhishek has shown a lot of pace, and he was definitely poised for pole position at the final stage of qualifying. So expect him to have a few battles with Jishnu as well for the race lead. Meanwhile, let's see when he decides to pit, because 9 laps on those soft tires, those tires are definitely giving up on him. And one indicator could be the kind of time Basel is gaining on VFX, which is right now consistent at the moment, but let's see. Meanwhile, even the Aston Martins right behind on the same strategy. So a double stack, one of them would have to go a lap longer and see how that
Meanwhile, I
works
think
out for
Abhishek is
them.
now slowly gaining on Jishnu as well. And because Abhishek was in a DRS train, he was the third person in the train. He might have more battery than Jishnu, because he was not the one who was attacking. Jishnu was the one who was defending. So Abhishek might have a better chance to take the race lead than VFX had over the McLaren. Meanwhile, Tantar Mantar has been stuck behind. Oh, that's a yellow flag. Bassel has retired. That could be a safety car. And it is a safety car, and that's
Yes,
very timely for the
yep.
soft runners like VFX to pit for a set of hards maybe and take it towards the end of the race. But we were
And
bigging
so
up
would the
Basil
medium
there.
runners, I believe.
Yeah, medium runners as well. Redstone top, the first one to blink, is in the pits and is gone for a set of hard tires. But we were expecting Basil to be very competitive towards the end because of his alternate strategy. We don't really know how it happened, because we were focused on this battle for the lead. But now this brings the race into balance, and let's see what our top 3 does. Rather, what top 3 do. Jishnu is the first one to make a decision, and he comes into the pits. So does Abhishek. So does VFX, and Braddock's Wave has a lot of time penalties, I believe 6 to be precise. And he continues on his hard tires, because he's on hards. He continues on. Caesar on hards decides to pit.
Caesar decides to pit.
Wow.
And so does Tantar Mantar on those hard tires.
Yeah, so that's an interesting choice, and Caesar is going for a set of mediums. Now, I don't think mediums can last 25 laps, so Caesar definitely needs to make one more pit stop. It is Blood X Wave who's going to lead the race from Ethan, and somewhere in there is someone who's not pitted. Yeah, I think it is Caesar. It is PSI Legends who has not pitted from the start of the race. So he is in P6 with 11 lap old hards, and behind them it's Caesar and Tantar Mantar who have just pitted for a fresh set of medium tires. So this is going to be interesting. No one on the softs, a lot of medium and hard runners, but I think everyone who's on fresh hards can expect to go to the end of the race. But those who are on fresh mediums, I think it is very touch and go, and they would be banking on another safety car to make it to the end.
Yep, these medium runners would have to box if there is no safety car coming, but 12 drivers in the race, safety car, oh, and Bloodwave going rather close to the safety car there. But yeah, I think if there are no more safety cars, the hard runners here have an advantage, barring PSI Legends, Bloodwave, and URL Ethan, since they still have to do their mandatory pit stop. Uh, and this is good news for Redstone as well. He can make his moves from the back of the field and gain a few positions and a few critical points as well.
Yeah, that's very much likely. Azun is in the pits, and I'm assuming he will go on a set of hards since he was on the mediums. No, he's got on a set of mediums. I'm not sure which tire he was earlier on, but he's going to be dead last by the time he Redstone and we are almost racing each other, especially Redstone, because he was desperate to come out ahead of Azun, and he has. The Mercedes are P11 and P12, and well, that's not a position they would like to be in, as they are chasing Ferrari for the Constructors' Championship, as they are 38 points behind Ferrari, and Ferrari are without their second driver here tonight, which is Redstone Dub, which is Yash Kosalia, sorry. So VFX is the only one who will score some points for the Italian Red Scarlet team tonight, and so Redstone and Azun would hope to claw back a few more points that are critical for the championship. The back is pretty much bunched up, which should indicate that the safety car should be coming in at the end of this lap, and that's the confirmation on the top of your screens. So we should go racing once again.
Meanwhile,
And yes.
yeah, meanwhile, Azun pitted from a set of softs to a set of mediums on the first lap of the safety car, and then he put on a newer set of mediums. So, yeah, weird but interesting tire choices there from him. So, let's see what he plans to do. Definitely backing on a safety car. Meanwhile, Bloodwave also lining everybody up. The safety car is pretty much in the pits. I think he's about to go any moment, or is he going to take it
And
to
remember,
the
VFX
exit
is on
of the
mediums
final
as
corner?
opposed to other on the hard. So VFX might be very competitive. And I remember him saying that the tire wear is such that he can go to the end. I think Blood X Wave
And
has
yes,
gone. And it's a good restart
yep,
from
he
him.
has.
And I think there's a
But
battle
a
for the lead.
better restart from URL Ethan, and he has already taken the lead at turn one. And Bloodwave was also come going to, oh, and there's a yellow flag for
PSI.
a Mercedes, is it? PSI Legends in the
PSI has lost
Alpine.
out a lot of
Meanwhile,
positions
coming
there.
back to the lead, even VFix is rather hot on Abhishek at the moment, or who just accumulates a track extension warning and therefore a penalty, 3 second time penalty. So this track is indeed becoming treacherous for a lot of drivers, and Jishnu is well right behind Bloodwave, so expect him also to put the heat up on the Aston Martin driver, because he's got rather fast drivers right behind him, and this battle is going right up to P10, I believe.
Here goes VFX. He's using his battery, but then stops using his battery. And what a restart from URL Ethan. He's on those hard tires. He's yet to pit in this race, but he has made the most of this restart. But he's made a mistake. And here goes Blood X Wave on the back of Ethan. And oh my god, what does that camera angle? But yes, I think Ethan does keep the lead of the race, and VFX is now well behind Abhishek, but is yet to make a move. So despite being on the softer tires, VFX has not really made up any positions through the first three and one more sector we have been through this race, and is looking very racy here, VFX. But he knows there are cars ahead of him which are quite rapid, and he'll have to be patient if he wants to get onto the top step of the podium. That's very much likely here. It's still possible. The race has not really gone away from him, and he has to play a patient game here. It's Caesar who's behind him. Caesar is ex-teammate in the AlphaTauri days back in season 2, and VFX does get a really good exit once again. He's using his battery once again, but that's just about the exit, and there's a lot of weaving going around. Ethan is weaving quite considerably there, but I think all's fine. But now it is Jishnu on the back of Blood
No,
X Wave,
oh,
and Jishnu will make that move stick. I think he has the inside line for the first turn. And Jishnu has come out on top. Now Blood X Wave has to be careful here.
oh,
VFX has lost
yep,
his wing, or he has definite damage on his wing, and it was a
yep.
pile up.
That was the Ferrari front wing that got damaged.
He has no front to wing there. I mean, he has no end plate there, and in all that, Jishnu has taken the position from Blood X Wave. I think VFX tapped the back of Abhishek's, which led to him damaging his wing, and I think there's a domino effect because of that. Now Redstone Dub is hot on heels of Caesar. Caesar taking a weird line through
Oh,
there.
and there's a yellow flag for
It's Ethan.
URL Ethan, I think.
Oh, Ethan. What is up with URL boys tonight? Losing the car, and well, that's Ethan out of contention for
Oh,
the race
and
win,
there is
maybe.
a safety
Oh, it's a
car.
safety car.
That's a safety
And
car,
that saves
yeah.
VFX's bacon. VFX can now pit and still be with the rest of the pack without losing any time. Well, he'll lose positions for sure, but he won't lose time. And does Blood
But
X Wave now pit? He does pit. Blood X Wave in the pits. Maybe Caesar will
VFX
pit as
can come
well.
on a set of hard tires.
Yeah, Caesar in the pits, so is Blood X Wave. But why is Caesar in the pits? He just pitted for a set of mediums. Is he going to go for another set of mediums maybe? VFX is in the pits for
Hard.
a new front wing. Blood X Wave on the mediums,
Yes, new
Caesar
set of
on
need. Oh, and a front wing change for
yeah,
Caesar.
front wing change for Caesar. Not sure which tires. Maybe it's another set of mediums. Yes.
And even Tantar Mantar.
Yep, Tanta Mantar as well. So Tanta Mantar
I
got
think-
caught up in all that as well. And he is.
I think it was a second domino effect with URL Ethan probably being the source of that and eventual safety car coming out.
So Ethan made a good move on Blood X Wave for P2, but not entirely sure what happened. For P1 rather at the restart after the safety car period ended. But well, both of them are down. One in P7, one in P11. Jishnu leads the race now, and without any time penalties, he is looking really good to win this race. Redstone Up, after all his troubles, is in P3.
Yep, he is, though he has to contend, or these Abhishek, Redstone, and Mayank have to contend with those 3-second time penalties. But oh yeah, all of them with 3 seconds, but Bloodwave with 9 seconds of time penalties there to his name.
Yeah, that's really not going to help Blood X Wave. 9 seconds of time penalties, and he's in P7. And because there are multiple safety cars, what happened to Abhi? Acha, Abhi's in the pits. I'm assuming for a set of mediums. I think mediums will take him to the end of the race. Yes, that's a set of mediums for Abhi, and he will rejoin behind PSL Legends in P12.
So can these tires go 17 laps? I'm sure they can, but
I think the mediums will now go
decent
17
pace.
laps because, well, safety car is also in effect right now. I'm not entirely sure about Azun's tire lasting towards the end of the race, but I think
Or is
everyone
there
else.
rain towards the end of the race?
Yeah, that's possible. Harsh, I'm not entirely sure what you mean. Yeah, not sure what you mean, Harsh. What incidents are you
I
talking
think
about?
he's
Tantar
talking about
Mantar!
race director and incident tab, I think.
Tantar Mantar has lost it. And I think he has front wing and rear wing damage both because he banked his car backwards over there. Yeah, he has no front wing. And this is going to be painful for Tantar Mantar because safety car might be in at the end of this lap, is it? Well, I don't see the message from race control, so yeah, it is in.
There will be because he has caught up to the pack
Yeah,
and he
this
just
is
slowed down a bit
going
and
to
played a
be
bit
painful.
cheeky.
This is going to be painful for Tantar Mantar. He'll have to pit at the end of this lap, and right. So let's go on board with Redstone Duff and see what the top two do. I think Jishnu is already gone. Yeah, I think Jishnu has already
Oh
gone and
yes,
has a healthy lead through the first turn, and Abhishek's and Redstone Dub are well behind him, and Mayank has had a lot of gap to Redstone Dub. So Mayank
yeah.
has been caught napping a little bit there. Tantar Mantar is in the pits, and let's see what Blood X-Wave can do versus Azun, who is without a time penalty, of course. But let's see if Blood X-Wave with 9 seconds of time penalties can make up a few positions as compensation. Azun a bit squirrely through that corner, which has been troubling everyone. Blood X-Wave gets a brilliant run through there, and that is going to be a good move on Azun. That's a good move from Blood
Yep,
X-Wave. He's
on
up
the
into P5.
P5. Yep, and those fresher set of medium tires just giving him that advantage, and also Azun losing his car a bit now under a bit of threat from the other Aston Martin behind, and Azun not really getting his tires up to temperature.
Yeah, probably that's it. And he also has a bit of tire wear on his tires as compared to others, but he does survive the onslaught which Caesar had. Now, Redstone Dub is on the back of Abhishek's, and he would want to make this overtake as soon as possible because Jishnu, without a time penalty, is getting away. Remember, there's a lot of racing to be had. 15 laps to go before we see the checkered flag, but Redstone Dub is on the back, but he has lost some time now to Abhishek, who had a good sector 1 and himself is putting pressure on Jishnu.
Yep, there are battles in trios that are going on rather, but I think these six cars are rather close together from P4 to P8 or P9. But the top three, in as much as they will be in their DRS train together, it's going to be difficult for any of them to really make a move. Meanwhile, Bloodwave and Mayank, I think Mayank lost his car coming out of those uh, that left and right hander again at the end of the
Yeah,
middle
and Blood
sector,
X-Wave has made his move
and
streak,
he,
so he is very quick here tonight, Blood X-Wave. And despite his time penalties, he's making up those positions. And there's a lot of cars. I think Blood X-Wave, one of them who has made a mistake that has brought Mayank back in the fold just a little bit. But the Aston Martin stays ahead in P4 for now. And this is the exact corner where VFix lost his wing, and I think there was a domino effect for a couple of cars behind him. And this time they're all careful to not do that. But the battle for the lead is now heating up, Gaurav. Look at that. The top three covered within 7 tenths of each other.
yep, that's very true, and they would the Abhishek and Redstone would be really eager to make that move because they have those 3 seconds to also cover up uh, from Jishnu, and Jishnu needs to just keep his head through so that he doesn't accumulate any kind of track extension penalties as all the three cars come rather close together. Who gets the best of the exits out of the hairpin? I think Vishnu, all of them get a very comparable exit now with the DRS assist. Abhishek side by side and makes the move well before the braking zone, and double DRS to his assistance there as Caesar has also made a move. And Azun, something happened to Azun or with Caesar, something happened between
Yeah,
the two
Caesar
drivers,
did
I believe.
overtake Azun, and Azun has lost some more time. He's in the pits for a set of softs, and Jishnu, meanwhile, has lost two positions in a matter of two straights. He's lost the lead to Abhishek, and then he has lost P2 to Redstone. So I'm not entirely sure what happened to Jishnu, but all of a sudden he's looking a bit slow there, and he's losing
I
more time to Redstone. I hope he doesn't fall out of
I
DRS.
believe that was double DRS. I think the lack of two consecutive DRS. I think one by one, both the cars just lined their exits
Yep, you
as
are
against him, as
quite
against
right.
his.
And here is Caesar now on the back
Uh,
of Mayank. And Mayank is gone deep into that corner. Caesar goes round down the inside and has made the move straight. They're still side by side, but Caesar will have DRS. Here goes VFX now on the back of both of them. Can he make it a double overtake? Can he? Is he going to go down the inside? This is going to be very close. But VFix is up on a position, and Mayank has lost two positions there. One to Caesar, the second one to VFix, and now it is Ethan who's just behind him. Has to be careful because Mayank is on those hard tires versus everyone else around on mediums. Caesar has lost a position. He's made a mistake and has lost a position to VFix. All is kicking off here as there are only 12 laps to go, and it seems like the drivers are in a much of a hurry to make up any positions they can up ahead. The gap which Redstone has to Abhishek is 3 seconds, and it's closing and it's closing and it's closing, and it seems like this time on the back straight Redstone might have a real chance to make a move for the lead of the race, Gaurav.
Yep, he would indeed. And later on, I mean, it's all about who, as how much would you want to, at what position would you rather want to be in this train? Would you want to be P1 or would you want to be P2? But at this moment, Redstone is rather closing in. Now would want to line himself up at with a better exit in the final corner, which he does get side by side into turn one on the inside. Brakes is much late on the brakes than Abhishek and makes the move stick. So brilliant racing between these drivers as Bloodwave has also joined the mix there for the battle.
Yeah, so Redstone is free now. He's driving in clean air, and the kind of pace he has shown this season, he can easily make that 3 second window. But it is important for the likes of Abhishek and Jishnu to stay within his DRS and then make a charge for maybe the lead of the race. Blood X Wave has joined the fight, as you said. Caesar is losing ground to VFX, so imagine VFX to also join this fight for the lead. Very soon it's Blood X Wave who's trying a move around the outside of Jishnu, nothing doing there. And look at the gap which Redstone has. I think Abhishek has already lost DRS there. No, he hasn't. He hasn't lost DRS. That's very crucial for his race. But he has to deploy battery in order to stay within that 1 second window of Redstone. And Redstone absolutely rapid pace through there. And well, DRS continues for Abhishek. But it seems like that Redstone will get out of that 1 second window in the next sector. Look at that gap increasing with every corner, and Redstone is clear.
Yep, he is. Now he just has to just put the pedal to the metal and keep increasing that gap. He's got 10 laps to do that. Even if he gains 3 or 4 tenths of Abhishek every lap, he is, and rather Abhishek has the same amount of time penalty, and Jishnu
No,
is
actually,
rather
Redstone
two
has
seconds
6
behind
seconds of
him.
time penalties, and Abhishek has 3 seconds. So, right
Oh,
now,
is
it's
it?
still in favor of Abhishek and Jishnu, but the kind of gains Redstone is making, he's absolutely throwing his Mercedes around. He has made it seem like a W11 there, and it is why it is important for Jishnu to now overtake Abhishek, because if Abhishek is the cork in the bottle here, Jishnu might lose the race win. He might still get P2, but I'm sure he wants the race win. Oh, 12 seconds now for Blood X Wave. Lot and lots of time penalties for the Aston Martin driver, and that is
And
just not helpful.
just going to demote him to P10 the way things stand right now. So
And look at
P9 or
that.
P10
Top
probably.
6 within 5 seconds. Top 6 within 5 seconds. Everyone, even it's VFX and Caesar now, who have kind of joined the party, and it's very likely that one of them will be on the podium by the end of it, Gaurav.
Yep, it is very hard to determine who, or rather predict who would eventually end up on the podium, even with 9 laps of racing to go. It's so the drivers are so close to each other as Abhishek does not get the best of exits there and might just come under attack from Jishnu, but from the looks of it, these drivers in the same party chat are, oh, Jishnu looks to make a move, but nothing doing right now. Has he lined up for a better exit? No is probably the answer, but VFix and Bloodwave are also pretty close. So,
Yeah,
but
Vifix
Bloodwave
did
knows he has that.
close up to Bloodwave, but couldn't really make an overtake. He has to get past him to put the pressure on the top two. But VFX right now, as it stands, is still in P5. 8 laps to go, and it is anyone's race. And the kind of advantage Redstone had over everyone else has kind of stagnated or plateaued a little bit. I thought he would be 2.5 seconds clear by now, but he's only 1.5 seconds clear. And it seems like the top two are also keeping up with him. Rather, the P2 and P3 are also keeping up with him to some extent.
Well, Redstone might just be hoping for one of those laps where these drivers from P2 to P4 or P5, just one of them goes side by side, which will obviously cost them a few tenths, and will all help Redstone with in increasing his gap. But let's see, can that happen on this time around, as Jishnu and Abhishek are rather pretty close to each other. Jishnu has his red light flashing, and so does Bloodwave, so not a lot of battery to contend with for these drivers. Meanwhile, Abhishek does have certain amount of battery, and I think he is close to the 40% range, if that's what the dash tells.
Yeah, and look
I
at that,
have
all
the
that
telemetry
squabbling between
of the.
Jishnu and Abhishek has given Redstone some breathing room, and now VFX is pretty much pushing Blood X Wave through the track, and he has to make a move stick. He won't be able to do it in a DRS zone because Blood X Wave keeps getting DRS from Jishnu, who is himself in the DRS of Abhishek. So VFX needs to
But
think of
VFX
something else.
knows, yeah, and he knows that he doesn't have a lot of battery, and I think he does get a good
Oh, here
exit.
goes
He
Jishnu,
should
by the
commit
way.
himself.
Here goes Jishnu on the back of Abhishek and ahead of Abhishek. Jishnu has finally made the move stick. Something happened there because both of them have lost a lot of time, but Jishnu is finally free. And let's see if VFX can make a move on red. Oh, that is going to be close! How
Oh,
can you do that?
Tom!
This could be a safety car, it is.
It is a safety car, and I am not sure if.
Well, Harsh, that 80%
Whoa!
DRS doesn't help now. Oh, what did I just
I,
see?
yep, I think that was a rather squeeze too much from the Aston Martin driver.
Yeah, that was a
Uh,
bit aggressive like
VFX.
earlier,
Yep,
and well,
VFX won't be happy with that at all.
at all, and this puts his championship lead into jeopardy because let's have a look once again. What's the gap at the top? 12 points, and if Redstone does win this race, which doesn't look likely now because under safety car he won't be able to gap the field by 6+ seconds, but this definitely closes the gap to VFix, and after every penalty is applied, maybe he might even emerge as the championship leader towards the end. Does anyone pit? I don't think Redstone will pit because he will lose a lot of track position, but it seems like everyone else is going to stay out. Who was that? Blood X Wave. That was, wow, that was a bit. Oh, Blood X Wave has no. What is he doing? He has no front wing. But why did he not pit?
Who?
Blood X Wave, the
That's
driver who had an
rather
incident with
interesting.
VFix, has no front wing, and I think he wanted to pit because he took a really weird line through the final chicane, but he probably missed his braking point or his line or something happened, which is why he could not pit. And well, he'll have to pit on the end of this lap now, and that will put him probably dead last, and he is dead last anyway with the amount of time penalties he has gotten. And well, let's see, Azun on mediums, Abhi on, well, Azun and Abhi are fighting at the end of the pit exit, but I think Azun has come out on top. So Jishnu and Azun, the only drivers right now who are without a time penalty, and Jishnu Well, he has to do only, he just has to drive and not get tangled up in any incidents. And he will take the checkered flag. I mean, he will not take the checkered flag as a winner, maybe, but he will win the race after the time penalties are taken into account. Azun could end up on the podium here, Gaurav, and I'm not even kidding. He's in P9 right now, but if the people ahead of him try squabble and if they lose enough time to him, which they might do because of the penalties, he might still end up on the podium. Blood X Wave is finally into the pits, and
Yeah,
that's a
and he
wing
can,
change.
Azun can also go on a set of soft tires. Uh, right now, is he going into the pits? No, so he is
I think he's gonna
continuing with
stay
the
out. He doesn't
medium
have a fresh
tires.
set of socks. I think his mediums or Blood X Wave has retired from the session
But
in the
Bloodwave
pits.
has retired from session.
So that is going to be a big inquiry into that. And let us check the Formula One chat.
For
Well,
some
nothing at all.
spice, no spice
No
yet.
spice.
The curry
No
is still
spice
cooking.
at all. Yeah, I
No
think
spices has
Refix
been
does his
added
talking
as
in the
yet.
party chat and not really in Discord public channels. Uh, right. So the safety car should be in maybe at the end of this lap because the track is bunched up and we will have what 4 laps of racing. It has gotten a bit overcast, Gaurav, and well, it's still sunny. We can still see shadows, but it has definitely gotten
Yeah, I
overcast.
don't think. Yep. Yep.
And the commentator in me is desperate for some rain towards the end. That would be very spicy indeed. But the safety car is in this lap, and
Yeah,
hopefully this
but
is the last safety car. Oh, what happened there?
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, was that lag or what was that?
Yeah, I
Because
just saw a
mine
lot of
came
cars
rather too close.
slowing down. But either ways, it is Restaurant Dub who is going to lead the safety car restart. We are going to be on board with Caesar, who is on 14 lap old mediums, and they would be feeling a tire wear, but I think they should be easily lasting towards the end of the race. And I think Restaurant Dub has gone already. He has gone. Yes, Srikanth, that's what I said. Azun could end up at the podium. And let's see who has cold tires. Probably not a lot of people. But Azun is on the back of PSI, and Azun might make it through on PSI. Can he? No, he cannot. He tries to hang it around the outside, but no dice. Either ways, Redstone, very good restart. 1 second is the gap to Jishnu already, but he's running out of laps. It's Abhi who has lost positions. I'm assuming he just let those people go. And now it's URL Ethan on the back of Mayank. This is going to be very spicy indeed. URL Ethan gets a brilliant drive through that corner, and they're side by side going into the next one. And let's see who blinks early. It is going to be Ethan, and he has overtaken Mayank. That's a position gain for the Alpine driver. Let's see what Caesar is up to meanwhile. Caesar is on the back of Abhishek's, and this is going to be close. Caesar can probably make a move here if he's willing to use his battery. Tantar Mantar and Azun have had an incident of some sorts. Not entirely sure what happened there, but Caesar not close enough to make a move this time around. Let's have a look at time penalties. Everyone with 3-second time penalties except Redstone, who has a 6-second time penalty, and then it is Azun who doesn't have any time penalty. I mean, and Jishnu with no time penalties as well. Tantar Mantar
But
and
Ethan on those soft tires is almost looking to make a move on the Aston Martin driver ahead, but has to hold on for this time around. He came rather very close to Caesar, but let's look at the total time. Okay, P3 to P6 with 3 seconds of penalty, so that's not going to change the positions amongst them. But Azun has also now
oh, he's
lost
almost lost
ground.
it,
But
Ethan. Ethan has almost lost it, and Mayank might re-overtake him as they go side by side into the hairpin. Ethan will have the inside line, and I think he'll keep the position, but has lost momentum there. And now Redstone, 2 more laps to go. He has pulled out a significant gap, but unless Jishnu makes a mistake, it is Jishnu's race. And let's see if Redstone is going to contend into this time penalties. It is Azun and PSI going side by side on the back straight, and it's going to be close. And let's see who breaks first, Azun and PSI. Oh, PSI is lacking quite a bit, but Azun does make his way through, and he's up into P8. Is not making the kind of inroads we hoped he would, especially because he didn't have time penalties. And PSI still fighting Azun, and PSI is still ahead of Azun, who's on mediums. PSI himself is on soft tires. The gap ahead 2.7, and Jishnu would like to keep it below 3 seconds if he can, because if Redstone does contend one of those 3-second time penalties, at least the gaps will still not be enough. But as I say that, Redstone is more than 3 seconds ahead of Jishnu here. Here goes Ethan meanwhile, Gaurav. And Ethan has overtaken Caesar, has it? Let's see who breaks late. Caesar is trying to keep his nose in, but Ethan does go around the outside and has overtaken Aston Martin of Caesar.
Yep, superior traction on those soft tires for Ethan, but he doesn't have any battery to contend with now. Last lap, oh, we have the DRS this lap as well, so I think one more lap of DRS, so that Redstone Derp. Oh,
Oh,
meanwhile, Abhishek
Jishnu!
and Jishnu side by side. Now Abhishek thinks that he can make up those half a second to the to Redstone, and that might just earn him the race
Oh,
victory.
Jishnu! Oh,
Oh,
it's Azun, sorry. It's
oh,
Azun and
yellow flag.
PSI. And, well, that's Azun down a place as Abhi has overtaken him. Jishnu is losing his tires there, and it is Ethan who has gotten him, and Caesar might get him as well. Caesar is trying to go down the inside of Jishnu, who is blocking him, and this is all going wrong for Jishnu here. Will he have that 6-second cushion? Will go to interval, will go to leader now, and Jishnu is just 3 tenths away. Redstone might still finish ahead of Jishnu, who has to drain his battery on the last lap. This is not going to be easy. It was all in his hands, but he seems to have thrown it away. It is Redstone who's going to finish P1 on the track, and what a brilliant drive it has been since then. He will lose the position maybe to a couple of drivers. It is Abhishek who might finish too, but Jishnu has done enough, and he is going to win this race with Redstone in P2, Abhishek in P3. It is Ethan in P4, Caesar finishes P5, Mayank in P6, and I believe it was Tantar Mantar after him in P7 with PSI in P8, or I think Abhi might have just taken that position, and then Azun finishing P10 if I'm not wrong. What a chaotic last few laps we had, and Jishnu just about with a whisker taking that win from Redstone Dub.
Yep, it was a very interesting race that we had around Canada. A few safety cars as well. Meanwhile, Azun having that fastest lap point there for him had a few incidents. Otherwise, he could have also seen himself a few positions higher. But nonetheless, it is what it is. As Jishnu with the race victory, Redstone and Abhishek rounding up the podium sitters. Ethan, Caesar, and Mayank, Azun, Tantar, Mantar, Abhi, and PSI legends. The rest of the points finisher, I think, as it is, it's points up to P10 in the new
Yep.
in this season, I believe, as Bloodwave VFix having an incident causing a DNF for all of them, both of them rather, URL, Puzzle, Tanishq, Oxidize, and Viper Speed. The rest of the finishers, as let me invite
Yes, Jishnu,
them to the
Redstone,
party chat
Abhishek.
if you haven't already.
No, I haven't. So please do that. And Chips, please remind us what happened in Season 7 Division 1 race. I have a terrible memory. So please let us know what track you're referring to and what happened then. We'll have a chat with Jishnu, Redstone, and Abhishek as they are on the podium. But what a race we had. And well, there was no rain, but these drivers did keep us on the edge of our seats, and Jishnu just by a whisker. Look at that. Look at the gap. 0.186, less than 2 tenths is what he had, and has finally won his first race in this season. I'm not sure if it's his first IRL win, but definitely the first race win of the season. As we wait for the people who got their podiums to have a quick chat with us before we call it a night. Right. We have a lot of disturbance, Gaurav. If you can unplug your mic and then probably plug it again as we wait for Jishnu, Redstone, and Abhishek's.
Okay, I have invited them. Okay,
Yep,
some are joining.
Redstone is already here, Jishnu is here, and I think Abhishek will join pretty soon as well. So we'll start with Redstone as we look for Mercedes in the showroom. Redstone, I hope you can hear us, and I hope that your audio sharing is on so people can hear your beautiful voice as they usually do on a Friday night on the stream. But
Saturday
what
night, by the way.
Sorry. Yeah.
I
I'm
mean, Friday
joking, I'm
night.
joking. Carry on.
Yeah, Friday and Saturdays because you have a habit of getting podiums as well now. But
Can you
what a
guys hear me?
brilliant race from you, Redstone. Despite those time penalties, you absolutely flew in that final stint. Just take us through your race. Talk to us about the first lap. What happened because you had to pit for hards. What was the incident? We didn't really catch it. And how was your battle with Abhishek and Jishnu?
So first of all, congrats to Jishnu and Abhishek. I mean, we've been talking about getting on the podium together for a while now, and it finally happened. Regardless of who won, I'm so happy that the three of us are there, and we finally fucking did it. And starting with quali, I felt like I was impeded twice because there were cars spun around. I think the second run it was the Haas, and the final run was the Aston Martin. I'm not sure if it was Caesar or Bloodwave. I think it was Bloodwave, but I lost a little time there, and I think I had three more tenths on that lap, but I couldn't really pull it together. Race start, it was an average start for me. VFix I think got a better start, but like we can't go three wide into turn one. So I sort of backed off and I saw VFix back off. So I let Abhi through. I was like, go ahead, I'll follow you through, no problem. And then we'll race later. But then Abhi, turn two, he had a moment and I had to like really brake and lift off completely. If I kept going, then both of us would have DNF. So then it threw me off. I hit the wall, went into the pits. They didn't change the wing, so I had to pit again. Just kept my calm and finally did it. It was a good comeback drive. I feel.
Yeah, it was indeed. And we have a message for you, Redstone, from one of your best friends on Discord, which is Srikant Das, that Redstone dominance could bore fans. So probably try not getting a podium next time around. But before we move on to Abhishek's, Gaurav, any questions for Redstone?
Well, no questions, but brilliant drive, Redstone. Good to see you on the podium, and the fight for Drivers' Championship is pretty much on. So, good luck with that.
Thanks, Gaurav.
All right, moving on to Abhishek's. Abhishek's, what happened in the last run in Quali? Because you were up by 1.5 tenths, could have been our only hope of seeing a driver into the 1.9s. And did you lose your front wing? You definitely lost your front wing, but where was the corner where you had your incident?
Yeah, in quali, I was very upset because I didn't get pole. I think pole was very much within the reach. I think I had a lot more time to find, but on my second run as well, I made a mistake and I couldn't get in a good lap. And on my third run, I wasn't up by too much, which kind of annoyed me. And then just pushing too much in the last sector and lost the rare at the hairpin. So yeah, I had to. Luckily, I had a good banker lap, which was enough for P2.
Yeah, it was a great lap indeed, which got you the P2. Talk us through about the battle with Jishnu and Redstone as well. I think you did overtake Jishnu on probably the last or second last lap of the race, but still not enough since because of the time penalties. But walk us through that battle and also the safety car restarts.
Yeah, the safety car restarts I think were good for the three of us. Yeah, we were getting good restarts and unfortunately had the penalties. Congrats to Jishnu and Aditesh and also Jishnu for keeping a clean race. And on the win. I was P3. I was behind Jishnu. We were trying to stick with Aditesh, but Redstone was just too quick for us today. Early on in the stint, it was manageable, but once the tires start to fall off, we just weren't able to keep at his pace anymore. And then it was just trying to keep it clean, it was kind of a DRS train, I think, behind us as well. And on the last lap, yeah, I just went for the move on Jishnu because Ethan was right behind me on those fresh softs, and I knew Jishnu didn't have a penalty, so he didn't really have to fight me for the position. So my race at that point was with Ethan. So yeah, happy to get a podium finally in D1.
Right, is this your first podium?
Yeah, first D1 podium.
Oh, nice. Congratulations, Abhishek. Uh, Anything from you, Gaurav, before we move to our race winner?
No, I think great racing between all three of you drivers. It was good fun to watch. Congratulations, Abhishek, on your first D1 podium.
Thank you.
All right. So, moving on to Jishnu, who has taken his first win this season. It might be the first IRS win. Jishnu, please help us jog our memories.
Yes, it is. It is my first IRL win
All right,
and my
way to
second
go.
season. Yep.
Congratulations, Jishnu. What a race.
Thank
Keeping it
you.
penalty free, one of the hardest tracks to do so, I would say. And you did that along with, I think, just one more driver that was Azun. VFix also was without any time penalties, but he unfortunately crashed out. But what a race, Jishnu. You did keep us on the edge of our seats towards the end by winning the race by just 2 tenths. Just walk us through the last couple of laps. What happened? How did you suddenly lose the pace or your car or the balance in it? And what made you ensure that we get a very exciting end to the race?
Definitely. I think last few laps I was struggling a bit. I mean, I normally tend to struggle on cold tires a bit. I think Abhishek's was quicker in the cold tire region, but I think once I get to up to my temperatures, I think I was fine. But then Ethan was behind me on the soft, so I was a bit going for the safest way possible. I didn't want any contact to unsettle my car because in this game, just a small contact, you'll just go into the barrier or you lose out. So I didn't want that to happen. Plus, I was watching out for that third warning and keeping it penalty free because I know at least P2 was there because Ajitesh was just flying the last few runs. So yeah,
Yep, that was a very interesting race from your perspective, just and well done to keep it penalty free, especially since you were on two warnings. And how confident were you after you exited the hairpin in the last lap that you would still keep the race when you would see the gap which you had to Redstone? And at any point, did you think that you might just lose it by a few tenths?
no, I think I was fine. I mean, I didn't have that much of pace. There was not that much of pace difference, but yeah, he was really quick. I thought if I could just keep it within 6 cents, and then I think last two laps just fell out because obviously Abhishek overtook, and then yeah, it was it was just keeping it clean because Ethan in Jeddah also had bit contact, so I was just on that mine. So
We all know
I
Ethan is
think
a dirty driver. I understood.
I'm not saying that, but
No, no,
yeah,
I'm saying that.
he
Right.
But
Gaurav,
yeah, I
any
think I had
questions
a good
for our
start.
listener?
So yeah,
But once again, massive
But
congratulations
nothing.
to these two guys. And like, it's been a long time coming, and it makes me really happy to see them up there as well. Well deserved win for Jishnu. Like, Singapore, he would have had it, but unlucky again. But he finally did it, and Abhishek's on the podium as well. So, really happy for these boys.
yeah. And likewise, I mean, it was amazing to race with Abhishek and Redstone. I know they are very obviously clean drivers, so am I. But it's just keeping it clean, and I mean, any day I would. I think it was good also to share a podium on my first win with these guys. I wouldn't have expected anyone else, so yeah, it was good.
Right. Guys in a corner for VFX. But yeah, this is the most civil podium interview we've had in a long time. So congratulations to all three of you. We'll see you next week in Australia. So good luck for that, which is the next circuit we will go racing at. Division 2 on Fridays, Division 1 on Saturdays as usual. Until then, thanks everyone for tuning in. Thank you, Gaurav, for the commentary. It was a pleasure. And we'll see you next
Yeah, thank
time.
you guys for the comms as well.
Yep,
Thank you,
you're
guys.
welcome, and congratulations to Jishnu for his debut IRL win.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you.
Cheers. Thanks, Marav. It was fun to join you on comms.